Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. The Giants lost to the Twins today 7-1. Their lone run came on Thairo Estrada's RBI double in the first. Anthony DeSclafani just didn't have his best day today, but neither did the Giants defense. They totaled 3 errors in the third inning with Brandon Crawford misplaying a ball and Brett Wisely making 2 errors, so that was not good for the Giants, and we're going to get back to that. But they lost 7-1. So they were like right on the cusp of taking the lead in the record, and it just went the other way. They were 24-24. And it definitely, after beating the Twins twice and then having Anthony DeSclafani on the mound, they would have had reasonable prospects of winning this game here. And I think it's just a 3-game series, sweeping the Twins, but that didn't happen. They just, that start was wasted, and I mean they're really coming back from the bad start they had to the season. They're looking really good now, but the question is, are they good enough? And I'm not happy about when this winning streak was kind of cut short, and it might just be a one-day thing, and hopefully they can get back on track and all that. I mean, this whole thing with the defense today, it's just, you got to keep in your mind that this is just like one game, so we're not going to make too much of it. I mean, I could say, like Crawford, well, we know his defense is on a decline. He has too many stories in recent years of misplaying balls, and I mean, but Brett Wisely, I could look at that and go, well, so much for all that about the team getting younger and more athletic and improving defense in that way. Well, that was a concern in the offseason, and Brett Wisely's a 24-year-old, and he committed 2 of the errors. But, I mean, I don't want to be too dramatic in making that point, given that this is just kind of one game where it was a bad showing. It just kind of sounds like the bad old times, doesn't it? And I don't know, I mean, in terms of the overall picture, this bad day, is it going to, particularly on defense, those errors the Giants made, is it going to have any ramifications? And basically the question here is it going to wake everybody up to the situation of the Giants defense? Is it going to wake everybody up to a thinking that they got to improve it fast, and it doesn't really just build on like this one game this year. I mean, there's a lot of history that it builds on over the past few years. I mean, in 2020, I'll just tell you, poor defense was one of the, I'm saying one for a reason, because it's not a limitation to a certain thing here. Poor defense in 2020 was certainly one of the but-for causes of not getting into the playoffs. Now, it's important, it's just one of them. That there are other factors that, in fact, those are the factors that they come to my mind when thinking back to 2020. They come to my mind far sooner than those bad defensive days too, but and yet it's all part of the same game. The Giants, they kind of had issues that year. 2021 was pretty much just good all the way through. And then last year, yeah, there were all these issues. So there's kind of a recent history to build on, and that's why it's even a question. How much is this going to get the attention of the whole staff and the front office and all that? There is honestly, and it would sound like a good thing if they realize that things aren't good enough here, but I mean, there's also a concern here, and it's probably only going to be evident to the deep thinkers. But if it becomes a thing, if it becomes an issue at the trade deadline, that might actually, that can go the wrong way easily, because if the front office like gets the idea that they could just add defense, even if it's guys who can't hit above average and nothing to help the pitching anyway. They could do that at the trade deadline and make it sound like it was a good deal. That's how you go too far, honestly. And I probably sound like I'm on a rabbit trail because it's not. This was not even a demonstration of a lack of defensive ability that's even rounded around the team. It was two guys tonight who committed errors. I don't think this is going to be the start of anything unless this just proves contagious like it is in the past, and we see some more days like this, and you kind of see that this whole bad defense thing is just going around like a bug around the roster and showing up in different areas of the field at different days, maybe including a few plays by the pitcher as well. But I mean, if that, I'm just saying, if we did see that, then the Giants could probably get to the point of making it sound like they did something good at the trade deadline if all they did was, took advantage of the opportunity to try to correct that a little bit, and yet it's clearly not enough if they can't add at least another really good slugger and just improve their pitching. So that is where it would lead to a compromised notion of what the purpose is at the trade deadline going forward, where it could actually become a bad thing. But again, we're not taking anything about this one way or the other from just one game here. I'm just, if it was going to affect the overall picture, I just wonder how that would turn out. But I mean, it's just that I probably talked way more than we can really, figure out. It seems like defense as a whole, it seems to be doing okay, and this day was kind of a surprise, and I do think the Giants probably expected to kind of win this game and sweep the Twins and all that, but I'll just say I don't think the Giants would have won if it weren't for, DeSclafani allowed, of the 7 runs that he allowed, 4 of them, you have to understand, were earned. So I think even before you assess their performance in the field, you kind of have to start there and say that, well, that isn't great. And on a day when the Giants weren't hitting, if it had ended 7-5, I'd probably be saying some different things about it. But it ended 7-1, and on a day when the Giants weren't hitting, it probably, you probably can kind of point to the pitching and hitting as normal here, and say they lost partially based on those things. So I think they need to just kind of go forward from here the way they always have been, and hopefully it'll all go better. This was a quiet day for the offense, a bad day for the defense, and not a great day for Anthony DeSclafani on the mound. He's had some great starts this year, but I guess he just needs to be a bit more consistent, right? Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you haven't. Also, please leave your questions and comments. You know where to do it. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.